Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, NFL fans around the world. This is the DOUG here for his week number 15 picks in the NFL. We're almost done with the NFL season. I'm getting ready for postseason action. So let's just go over what happened quickly in week 14. The Jaguars beat up the Texans. Bengals beat the Colts. Packers beat the Falcons. Patriots made the comeback over the Browns. Jets destroyed the Raiders. Eagles beat the Lions in a game that was apparently an ice war for my own land. The Miami Dolphins upset the Steelers. Buccaneers beat the Bills. Chiefs destroyed the Redskins. Ravens had a fourth quarter comeback and beat the Vikings. Broncos destroyed the Titans. Cardinals keep the playoff hopes alive with a win over the Rams. San Diego does the same thing over the Giants. Niners beat the Seahawks. Saints beat the Panthers. And unfortunately, my Dallas Cowboys lose to the Chicago Bears. Now, let's talk about the playoff standings before we get to this week's picks. In the NFC, Seattle holds the number 1 seed at the moment, as they still control the NFC East. They can lock up the NFC East this week with a win and a San Francisco 49ers loss. Unfortunately, Seahawks, Niners play the Buccaneers, so I don't know if that's going to happen. New Orleans controls its own fate in the NFC South, as all they got to do is win out and they'll get in. But we may not know that till probably around week 17, most likely. Same with the NFC East as well. While yes, Philadelphia does hold it over Dallas due to Dallas losing this past week. Like it's been talked about, if the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles tie, Dallas will get the division due to the better divisional record. And then Detroit holds the tiebreaker over Chicago and control their own fate in the NFC North. As far as for the wildcard seeds, North Carolina and San Francisco both hold a deadlock at it at 9-4. Arizona, Chicago, Dallas, and Green Bay, and I'll talk about Green Bay in a minute, would need help getting a wild card or winning their respective division. Which, unfortunately, Arizona cannot win the NFC West. They would have to get a wild card spot, which could happen. We shall see. Chicago, if you win out and Detroit loses one of the 3 games coming up, you can win the North. Green Bay, you need a little bit more help, though. Excuse me. Green Bay has to win out and then hope Detroit and Chicago both fall on its ass. That's the only way Green Bay can get in at this point. So, who knows what's going to happen there. Dallas, you got to win out and hope Philadelphia does not get to 10 wins. Because 10 wins you can still beat them. But if Dallas loses one game and Philadelphia wins the next 2, Philadelphia will win the NFC East automatically, which is kind of weird because which would be one of the few times in NFL history you could say the person with the better divisional record does not win the division. And I say that because Dallas plays Redskins next week. That should be a lock for Dallas. So Dallas could be 5-1 in division, but not make the playoffs because of the loss to Chicago. That could hurt Dallas in the long run. Chicago, yes, you still won. You still got to get some help. Green Bay, same thing. Giants, Rams, Tampa, Minnesota, Atlanta, and Washington are all out at this point in time. Over in the AFC, Denver is still the number 1 seed. Cannot clinch the AFC West yet. Kansas City still keeping pace with them for now. But they can clinch the NFC West with a win and a Kansas City Chiefs loss this week. New England can clinch the AFC East with a win. That's all they need. Cincinnati still controls the AFC North, but they cannot clinch. But they can clinch a playoff berth with a win this week. They can also clinch the AFC North with a win and a Baltimore Ravens loss. Colts are already in as the 4th seed in the AFC, as they, yes, they did lose this past week to Cincinnati, but Tennessee got the living shit beat out of them by Denver. So Indy gets in thanks to Denver, which is fucking ironic. Kansas City can clinch the 5th seed with a win this week or a loss by Baltimore and Miami, respectively. Baltimore still holds the 6th seed at the moment. They can pretty much win the 6th seed if they win out. Miami would have to win out and hope for a Ravens loss at some point. San Diego and the Jets are also still alive, but they would need some help. They would both have to win out and and the other ones in front of them would have to lose. Tennessee and Pittsburgh, they're 5-8. I think they're done. Oakland, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Houston have already been eliminated. And the only thing is about this, earlier in the year, I said Jacksonville would probably be the #1 seed, followed by Tampa. Nope. #1 seed in the draft, when we have the draft, is most likely going to be Houston. Yeah, sorry, Houston. And as far as for the #2, it's probably going to be decided this weekend because Atlanta and Washington both play each other. So we'll talk about that when we get to that game. Now, let's get to week number 15 in the NFL. Game 1, it is the San Diego Chargers traveling on the road to take on the Denver Broncos. Broncos have not lost a home game this season. San Diego needs this one to keep their playoff hopes alive. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. And Denver will win this game and probably keep a stranglehold on the #1 seed in the AFC. San Diego, you gave it a good shot, but I don't think you're going to be able to keep up. And you know, San Diego's been playing hot, but Denver has not lost at home. They're playing in Seattle. Next, the Atlanta Falcons take on the Washington Redskins. Redskins are the road team this week. They have only won 1 road game. Atlanta's only won 2 home games. Both teams are 3-10. Both teams stink. I'm taking Atlanta. There's a lot of no one knows who's going to be starting quarterback for the Redskins. A lot of people think, and a lot of people are probably presuming this, should be announced sometime later today or tomorrow, who will be the starting quarterback for Washington. It seems it may not be RG3. They may just bench him for the rest of the year and let Kirk Cousins take over, since they don't want the franchise quarterback to get hurt, which I do agree with. You've already been eliminated from playoffs, so there's no need to start your franchise quarterback at this point. Let the backups play. Let them get some training in. Next, Chicago Bears travel to Cleveland. Now, why? Yes, the Bears have been a bad road team. They've been looking pretty good. So I'm going to take Chicago to beat Cleveland at home, but this could be one of the trap games this week. Just keep that in mind. Next, Houston Texans take on the Colts. I'm taking the Colts. Houston Texans are terrible. Moving on. We have the the game that pretty much could decide everything. Patriots take on the Miami Dolphins. Like I just said, Patriots win, they're in the playoffs automatically. They lose, Miami could steal the division right from under them. But I am taking the Patriots to win this one. Granted, they don't have Kozlowski. They're banged up, but I don't trust Miami. I have not trusted Miami all season long, and I still don't. Next, Philadelphia takes on the Vikings. Vikings are surprisingly somewhat of a decent home team, but Adrian Peterson's hurt. Eagles are a great road team. There's no doubt on that. They're 5-1 on the road. So I'm going to take Philadelphia to win this one on the road. But again, just like with the Bears and Browns game, this could be one of those trap games. Because I think Philadelphia is favored way too much on this one as well. Same with Chicago. Chicago is favored aplenty at the moment. I'm sure that will change by the time tomorrow gets here as usual. Seahawks take on the Giants. I'm taking the Seahawks. There's nothing more to be said about that. It's the Giants. They're done. San Francisco 49ers take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am taking the 49ers. Tampa, while I think it is impressive you won the last few of your games, I just think Niners have right now a better overall system than you, and I'm just gonna take that. Niners win this game. And it's the last 1 o'clock game. It is the Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills. My pick for that, folks, I am taking... What the fuck is it? Yes, I am taking the Jaguars to beat the Bears. Jaguars have been looking very impressive. Now both teams are 1-5 respectively on this. 1-5 at home for the Jags, 1-5 on the road for the Bills. Something's gonna have to give here. So, it's probably not gonna. It's probably gonna be one of those 1 o'clock games that's not gonna get shown, but it may be decent. Next, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Oakland Raiders. I'm taking the Chiefs. Chiefs win this. They got the 5th seed. I think Oakland's gonna, after seeing how they played against the Jets, yeah, no thanks. Moving on. The Jets go to North Carolina to take on the Panthers. I am taking the Panthers to win this one. I think they will bounce back. Jets have been a terrible road team this year. Only won 1 road game this season. Panthers win this. They pretty much will have a stranglehold on that 5th seed, depending on what happens the rest of the way. Arizona Cardinals take on the Titans. I am taking the Cardinals on this one. It's going to probably be a little sad. Cardinals could have a winning record, but miss the playoffs, kind of like Chicago did last year. I'm be a little sad about that. That's always one thing I always kind of find sad. You have a winning record, 9-7, 10-6, and you still don't make the playoffs. That kind of sucks. Granted, it could happen to Dallas. Next, Saints take on the. We have 2 weird games that both happen about 4:25 on Fox. The first one we may as well just get out of the way. It's the Packers taking on my Cowboys. Travis, Kara, and the rest of my friends and subscribers who are Packer fans, you know I'm taking Dallas. Dallas is at home. They've had a good home record. They're 5-1 at home. Green Bay is 2-4 on the road. There is that question of where Aaron Rodgers start. I don't know. I think he would be a game time decision, but I think they're going to want to wait till they see the Bears and the Bears game. Because the Bears win, then they're pretty much SOL'd at this point, in my humble opinion. Because Packers have to win out, Bears and Lions have to lose out, like I said earlier. So I'm taking the Cowboys on this one. Come on, Dallas. We gotta wake up. We gotta forget about that Monday night game, which I didn't even get to watch because I had other shit on my mind, as many of my friends know. As far as for the other game, I'm taking the Saints to destroy the Rams. Sorry, Greg. Saints are just better. Sunday night, which I find ironic as shit, don't mean anything too much unless you're the Bengals. Bengals take on the Steelers. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals on this one. Definitely the better team overall. Next, the Ravens take on the Lions. This should be an interesting Monday night game because both teams are playing pretty much for playoffs at this point. Loser could miss the playoffs. Winner will help their case. I'm going to take the Ravens on this one. The Ravens are probably not the better team on paper, but Ravens have been playing a lot of great games the last few weeks. Lions have been messing up the last few weeks, a lot of turnovers. Let's be honest, on the Thanksgiving game that they did win, if the Packers would have been a better team than they are, Packers probably would have won, but because Packers are banged up, Lions got lucky. Lions' biggest disadvantage, and this is why I do not buy into them as a playoff team, turnovers. They turn over the ball way too fucking much. So my picks are Broncos, Falcons, 49ers, Seahawks, Eagles, Patriots, Jaguars, Colts, Bears, Chiefs, Panthers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Saints, Bengals, and the Ravens getting a win this week. By the way, last week I went 10-6 for week 14 and for the season. I'm 121, 95-1 thanks to that stupid tie with fucking Green Bay and Minnesota. Those are my picks for this week. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? And until next time, this is the DOUG signing off saying have a good day. I am out of here. Woo!